Aloha friends, and welcome to my channel, Tasty Healthy. Today we are making a delicious dish of Brussels sprouts. This is not everyone's favorite vegetable, and if you don't prepare it well, it usually doesn't taste so amazing. But I started making Brussels sprouts probably about 8 years ago, and I really have come to enjoy them. So this dish especially, which kind of just came together slowly from making it different times, and just has a really nice zesty taste. So as you can see, we're starting with 2 onions, 2 sweet onions, because that's my favorite. You can also use yellow or white if that's all you've got. White is a little bit stronger, but if that's what you've got, go ahead and use white. And usually yellow and white are a little bit bigger size, so you could probably just use 1 if you want, or 1.5. So we're just rough chopping these onions and placing them into the rice cooker pan. You can also use your stovetop, of course, but I find that a lot of people in the world have a rice cooker for sure, and especially students. A lot of times students don't have a full kitchen or have pans, and they will definitely have a rice cooker. So usually cook all my stuff in a rice cooker for this channel, but you don't have to use a rice cooker. The rice cooker that I'm using is down below in the notes. If you don't have one and you want to purchase one, they're super handy, super good for steaming things, and just really versatile with making different things. Okay, so now we are rough chopping some garlic. If you're not a huge fan, you can start with 1 clove of garlic. As you can see, I'm a huge fan, so I'm using 5 cloves of garlic. But you can always start with 1 and work your way up, or not, however you feel about it. Just going to move into a finer chop here. This garlic, I like my garlic a little more finely chopped. You can also mince it if you want, or use a garlic crusher. For some reason I haven't got around to getting a garlic crusher. I need to put that in my notes right now because that's the easy way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add in a little bit of garlic. Let's go ahead and break up the onions. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. I usually like to put the garlic in on top of the onions because garlic is it cooks a little bit faster, so it's a lot easier if you put the onions on the bottom, and then the garlic kind of gets steamed a little bit while it's sitting on top of the onions, and it won't burn, because typically if garlic is cooked for too long, it'll start browning and burning, and garlic only needs to be cooked for a minute or 2 at the most. So yeah, starting off with some onions and garlic, and we're just going to place them in the pan and start heating them up a little bit. And then we're going to start with our Brussels sprouts, about 1 to 2 cups of Brussels sprouts. Usually I just use whatever's in the package, and they come in packages anywhere from 1 to 2 cups usually. So it doesn't have to be exact. And then you're going to want to start to peel off the outer leaves of the Brussels sprouts after you rinse them off and get to that nice soft inner green. Usually I just peel off the outer layer, maybe one more if it's not as clean, and it can be a little bit time consuming, so give yourself a little bit of time, maybe like 10 to 15 minutes depending on your efficiency level. Mine is a little bit lower than most. I didn't learn how to cook when I was younger, so I'm still learning, and cooking is a lifelong learning process like everything. So but some people are a little bit faster than others, so if you are, then you're super blessed. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and peel off this outer layer. Today I am wearing Baton Rouge on my fingernails, Color Street Baton Rouge. It's a super nice bright red color. You can also put Home Sweet Home over the top if you want. It gives it a nice shimmery color. I really like that color for Christmas, so I might end up putting that on for Christmas. Coming up, a few months away. And if you want to go ahead and purchase that color strip, it's down in the notes as well. Now, Brussels sprouts is packed with nutrition, and the main things is vitamin K and vitamin C, which are super essential for healing. Vitamin K is not as well known, but if you talk to older doctors, back in the day, the number one thing that they made sure that patients had was vitamin K. I don't know if that is really taught nowadays among doctors, but that used to be something that they made sure that their patients got. Brussels sprouts also has vitamin B6 and folate and potassium in smaller amounts, more micronutrients. So we're going ahead and peeling off these outer layers. And if you're just joining us for the first time, the philosophy on this channel is fresh is best. As fruits and vegetables, food sits, it starts to gain toxins just like everything else. The bacteria starts to build. And if you have issues with inflammation and allergens, it's not good. And I never knew until I had COVID, and then in June I started having long COVID symptoms, COVID long haulers, and I had never learned that food can truly make people sick. Of course, junk food, we all know junk food can make people sick, but I didn't know that regular food can also do this. So yeah, fresh is best. If you can eat it on the first day, that's the best. If not, the second day, and after the second day, ideally, you want to try and make sure you get it in the freezer after the first or second day. And of course, life happens, and max 4 days. 4 days in the fridge is the max, and then you definitely want to get it into the freezer. And if not, just go ahead and compost it. It can go back to the earth and provide nutrients to the earth. And a garden, you can always give it to a gardener friend who composts, and I'm sure they'll appreciate your kitchen scraps. And they might gift you with some fruit or veggies from their garden. You never know. So yeah, Brussels sprouts, super, super good at reducing inflammation, allergens, really good at balancing blood sugar, your blood sugar levels. If you have blood sugar levels issues like diabetes and candida, bacterial, whatever it may be, usually that's also a factor when you have inflammation and high allergens or allergens. So Brussels sprouts are super good for that. They have a lot of fiber, which keeps things moving through the digestive tract and really benefits your digestive tract. And also the omega-3s. Brussels sprouts has omega-3s. So super, super, super good veggie. So we're going to go ahead and finish peeling off these outer layers. And as I said, it can be quite time consuming, so you want to give yourself some time, at least 10 to 15 minutes, to prep the Brussels sprouts. And make sure that you get any dark brown or grayish coloring. Just peel all that right off. Get it right off the outside because you don't want that oxidation going into your body. As I've said in past videos, oxidation ages. It's an aging process, and it also ages the human body as you place fruits and veggies that have been oxidized into your body. So you want to do your best, especially if you're older or elderly. You want to make sure that you get off all that oxidation. When I was younger, I didn't think too much of it, but it really does help to make sure you get all that off the outside. Okay, so now we are going to take these Brussels sprouts and prep them a little bit further. I'm going to go ahead and get a bowl and place them in the bowl. And then we're going to chop off the bottom stem, which is a very fibrous part that we don't want going into our bodies. A little bit too much fiber. And so you're just going to take the Brussels sprout and chop off the bottom portion. But in the meantime, we're going to get back to the onions and garlic in the pan. You've been lightly cooking in the coconut oil, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. And we're going to go ahead and add in 2 pinches of kosher sea salt. If you don't have kosher sea salt, that's okay. You can use sea salt. Himalayan salt is also fine. Every once in a while, the iodized salt is fine. Definitely need iodine in your diet, and if you don't eat a lot of seaweed or seaweed products, then you definitely want to have some iodized salt, but not a lot. And if you do have the iodized salt, the iodized sea salt is the best. I think they have it at Walmart. I don't know where else, but I'm sure if you Google it, Google is your best friend, it'll tell you. So we're going to go ahead and slice off the bottom of the Brussels sprouts. and then slice them in half. And if you like, you can also slice them into, just make little slices, cut them into little slices, or thinly slice them, should I say. And when you thinly slice them, it's a nice additive to your salads. You can add it to your salads. It's a nice, add some zest to your salads with some thinly sliced Brussels sprouts. Kind of marinates it a little bit more and then gives it a nice zesty flavor to any of your salads. So if you like adding different elements, different veggies or fruits to your salads, Brussels sprouts is a great, this little dish is a great additive to salads. And when you thinly slice it, it really marinates it well and then adds that delicious zesty flavor. So we're going to go ahead and keep breaking up those onions in there as they cook in the coconut oil. I usually use coconut oil when I'm sauteing, and it's one of the only oils that it really is the only oil that you can use at high heat and not have it affect the nutritional value as so much. And it's a very healthy oil. I also like to use olive oil, but olive oil you really can't use at high heat. You kind of have to add it in at the end, or it affects the nutritional value of that oil. And olive oil it's best to use the extra virgin olive oil, organic. And I always try to look for, a bottle that comes straight from Italy. Italians are the experts with olive oil, and they eat a lot of it. Like a family will eat like a whole bottle in a week for sure. So it's super, super good oil to add to your dishes. Definitely is great for your skin and hair, nails. So add some olive oil. Okay, so we're almost done chopping up these Brussels sprouts. Go ahead and break up those onions a little bit more and mix it together. Kind of getting some of that garlic down to the bottom now. And this is our last Brussels sprout slice. Go ahead and throw that in. Go ahead and stir it up. Those onions should be getting nice and cooked and a little bit more thin and translucent. And we're going to add a little bit of lemon juice straight from the lemon. Fresh is always best. I'm adding a tablespoon, but if you're having a lot of inflammatory issues and lemon juice kind of triggers that, especially if you just had an allergic reaction, you just want to add like a teaspoon or two, which is not a lot, but you definitely don't want to have any of those kind of reactions. But sometimes the oil kind of offsets it, so you might be okay anyway. And if you don't have any inflammatory issues or allergens, then go ahead and add more if you like. But 1 tablespoon is enough to add just a little bit, enough zest, that lovely hint of lemon. Makes it quite lemony actually, so And then you're going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of olive oil. We're going to go ahead and shut it down and cook it for a while. You can just go ahead and stir it occasionally. The Brussels sprouts will get a little bit of a darker green, and your onions will get translucent. And yeah, then they're all cooked up. You're going to add a tablespoon of hemp seeds in. Hemp seeds add a really nice nutty flavor. Oh, and while I was talking, we also added in a pinch of pepper, black pepper. If you have, reactions with pepper, just want to add a little bit, and I always try to keep it at just a pinch because I don't want to have any inflammatory issues. Sometimes black pepper can trigger it if you get too much. So then I'm going to go ahead and garnish the top with a little bit of hemp seeds as well. Perfect little garnish. Gives it a nice, pretty finish. So there you go, Brussels sprouts. It's so good. And if you're joining us for the first time or you haven't already, go ahead and make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button, and the notifications bell. And if you don't have a notifications bell, you can click on the settings, go in there and add the notifications so that when another video comes out, you can go ahead and get that notification and prepare ahead of time. Go to the grocery store, the health food store. Organic, fresh is best. And yeah, and I'll give you a little time once the video comes up. You can go out and do your shopping. So mahalo. Thank you so much for joining us today. Aloha, friends.